in a move that could reshape the tone of upcoming global diplomacy. Chinese President Xi Jinping has spoken directly with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The call, described by state media as cordial yet strategic, comes just days before Putin is due to meet U.S. President Donald Trump, a meeting with the potential to shift positions on Ukraine, NATO, and sanctions. According to Chinese state broadcaster CCTV, Putin used the conversation to brief Xi on his recent exchanges with Washington. He assured the Chinese leader that Russia intends to keep high-level communication channels with Beijing wide open during this pivotal period in global affairs. She welcomed any dialogue between Moscow and Washington that could cool tensions. He reiterated China's stance that political negotiation, not prolonged conflict, is the only path forward for Ukraine, calling on both sides to pursue steps toward a lasting settlement. But she also struck a note of caution, saying the world should not expect instant solutions. Complex geopolitical disputes, he said, require patience, mutual trust, and often years of sustained engagement before they can be resolved. When Trump and Putin sit down later this week, the U.S. president is expected to push hard for at least a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine. He is betting that his personal rapport with Putin could unlock concessions no other leader has managed. However, Putin's position remains firm. He insists Ukraine must never join NATO, must forego Western security guarantees, and must formally recognize Russian sovereignty over territories it currently occupies, including Crimea. Trump, in the past, has hinted he might be open to such terms, even suggesting Ukraine may need to give up territory to secure peace. But that was before the political landscape in Washington began to shift. With bipartisan support for Kyiv now growing in Congress, Trump has adjusted his public stance. He now voices strong backing for Ukraine's sovereignty and has authorized fresh arms shipments, signaling he may not concede as easily as before. Behind closed doors, though, there are signs of flexibility. On August 6th, Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff reportedly presented Putin with what was described as an acceptable peace proposal, one that could potentially address some of Russia's core concerns. Part of Trump's negotiating strategy includes the threat of secondary sanctions. These could target not just Russia, but also its key trade partners like China and India, effectively forcing countries to choose between continued access to the U.S. market or their current ties with Moscow. For Putin, however, the Ukraine conflict is more than a geopolitical dispute. It is, in his view, an existential battle for Russia's security. And he has made clear that NATO's presence in Ukraine is a red line that no amount of economic pressure will force him to cross. For India, this diplomatic chess game is becoming increasingly costly. Trump's tariff hikes on Indian goods are already squeezing trade, while any move to curb Russian oil imports risks straining New Delhi's long-standing strategic partnership with Moscow. For more updates on this developing story and the latest in global politics, trade wars, and diplomacy, make sure you subscribe to our channel, The Indian Express, and enable notifications so you never miss an important report.